Welcome to Talking Business. I'm your host, Darcy Edwards with Edwards Realty Trust and Queen Bee Leadership Training. Talking Business is just that. We're talking business with business leaders, entrepreneurs, leaders in the community in Hillsborough, Washington County, and Oregon. This podcast is brought to you by Xpose Hope. Catch us on all the platforms: YouTube, Apple, iTunes, Spotify, all the platforms. Like us, rate us, and share us. Hello, Darcy Edwards here with Talkin' Business, and today we have the executive director and the creator of this podcast, all about Hillsborough, and Xpose Hope, Betty Campbell. The rock star of Hillsborough is here with us to talk about about Xpose Hope, how you got into it, how you benefit businesses. So let's talk a little bit about the background of Xpose Hope and how that came to Hillsborough.
Well, Xpose Hope actually grew out of a ministry that my church was doing to help people get home without driving drunk after they had been out partying all night. And so we would go to bars and we would suggest that we could drive the person home with someone following us, and we would do that. Well, we came out of a bar one night, and there was a woman in a wheelchair, and I had just recently learned to walk again. I had been in a wheelchair for some time. I was hit by a car on my bicycle on the 26th. And so my heart went out to her, so I jumped out of the car to see why she was crying and why she was out there that late in her wheelchair. And her husband was in one of the local clubs and was using some of the services, and he had promised her that he would not do that if she took him to the club. And she was brokenhearted. So my heart broke for her. But it also broke for him, and it broke for the ladies inside, because I've been one of the ladies inside. And I have been one of those people trying to serve those needs and never really being able to service them totally.
Right. So when you decided to start this ministry, how many volunteers did you have signing up, raising their hand to go out with you? And tell the people, I don't think people really understand that you actually go into clubs and what you do there. So let's talk about that part a little bit.
Well, when we started, it was me and my pastor's wife and a woman from church who I had never heard speak. She would shake my hand, she would smile nicely, but she had never spoken to me. And I thought, this is certainly not a winning combination, but it became a winning combination. She became one of the girls' favorites. And we went out for about 6 months without anybody else. And it began to grow from there. We go into strip clubs, lingerie modeling studios. We go to some other sex-related industries. And then we also go to 82nd Street, 10th Street in Hillsborough, places where prostitutes might frequent. Mm-hmm. We take small gifts with our card in them so that we can create relationship. And then when things happen, which they do in that life, I've been in that life, and it's not an easy life. So when the world happens to them, they know who they can call. When the DHS comes to take their kids. Right. When they have a child in the hospital, or they are in the hospital and they're trying to find some answers from somewhere other than doctors. When they are beaten by their significant other. All of those things we get the call. Right. And then we help them make their own choices for life instead of choices that were chosen for them, either through circumstance or through manipulation.
Right. So when COVID hit that industry, yes, hard. And I was there the day you got those calls, and stepping out into tapping into the business community. How did that come about? Reaching out to the business community to help you with this mission.
I don't come to nonprofit world from nonprofit world like most people. I come from a business experience. I had been a writer and editor for 30 years, and I had also owned several businesses. So I only knew how to network as a business owner, and I see nonprofits as nonprofit businesses.
Right.
So therefore, I thought networking would be great for us, and it has been, because businesses see the need to help their community, to help community members through life change, and to improve the condition of their community members.
Right.
And so the businesses, especially in Hillsborough, but all throughout Portland metro area, have been amazing to help fund us, to provide items for our auctions, to fill tables at our events.
Right. I mean, you do have an event that you do yearly.
Yes.
It's called Boots and Stilettos.
Yes, this year it's Boots and Stilettos Reboot, because we tried to do it last year, but it was canceled due to the shutdown. And then we do smaller fundraisers throughout the year too.
Right.
The idea is to keep money coming in so that we can pay for things like housing for women who need to be housed or kept from their trafficker. So we can pay for things like job skills, employment assistance, apparel to wear to interviews.
Right.
All of those things cost money. And then, of course, trauma care and mentoring services. And sometimes counseling, because most of our women, they have a higher percentage of PTSD than returning Vietnam vets.
Wow.
Those who've been in the industry.
Right.
So that type of care is very important to our ladies and gentlemen.
That's wonderful. I know that you curate the pages on Facebook of All About Hillsborough, All About Forest Grove, all about business, and you have a networking event that you do every week that I attend, Thursdays at 8 a.m. And so I love the fact that you have your hand in the business world as well. You're also an author.
Yes.
Right? So talk about your books, actually one of which I have right here.
Symbiotic Business was written because I do come from both worlds. So I understand what it is like to be an entrepreneur, running a business and wanting to give to my community,
Right.
but not knowing how to do it effectively, because I kept wanting more than just a tax write-off.
Right.
And then I also know what it's like to be a nonprofit and to be a local nonprofit, and why feeding your local nonprofit monetarily will help your community. So I brought those two together in this book. It teaches entrepreneurs how to get more out of their donation, because you can be getting marketing, you can be getting board
Right.
positions, there are
Yes.
things you can be getting.
Absolutely.
And also it teaches nonprofits how to network better, because we saw a lot of nonprofits fail when COVID hit, because people drew in their money out of fear.
Right.
Xpose Hope did better than we've ever done, because we ran the All About Hillsborough page. We ran All About Business. They needed us to continue to exist so that they could continue to get the word out. So investing in your community as a nonprofit business is also very important, and networking.
Right. Well, what you also do on those pages is you give people a platform of, I was at this restaurant, they were amazing, they had the best service, they came right to my car, it was really clean, and building up the businesses. So it's not a Yelp site. It is a this is the business that's doing good, let's go support them today.
Right.
Type of a page. And I love that. It's super positive.
It's pro-community. We're
Yeah.
trying to find the things that we all agree on and emphasize those, because there's many things that can break a community apart that they don't agree on. We don't speak about those things. We're trying to bring the community together, business, moms with kids, families, the elderly, everybody in one place where it's safe, where they can enjoy the city that they live in, and add to it, and let people know when they have great experiences or when they have gone to a park that's amazing.
Right. Excellent. So, what are some things that you have learned that you wished you would have implemented earlier, or things that you wish you wouldn't have done, or wish you would have done it sooner? What are some tips and tricks of the trade, we call that?
Wow, there are so many.
Right.
First, I would have probably written my book sooner. I think that my other book, My Journey in His Hands,
Yes.
is going to reach a lot of my ladies. And it's going to reach people who've dealt with the things that my life has dealt with. I was orphaned. My mother died when I was 9. My brother died when I was 7 in a car train accident. I was hit by a car. I was married to someone who was abusive. So I have been through many things in my life.
Right.
And I want people to understand I've been through a cancer journey with my husband. So that there is hope in all of those things. There is always tomorrow. And today may look bleak, but tomorrow is coming.
Right.
And so I
Love
think
that.
that book is really important. And I would have written it sooner so I could have reached more people with that message of hope.
Right.
Which is part of why we're called Xpose Hope. I also would have networked much earlier. I kept thinking that, you know, the way to do this was donations from nice little community groups. But honestly, business networking has changed my life. And it has enriched me personally because every person that I network with becomes part of my life.
Right.
I love supporting them. I love helping them. So it's been an amazing thing. So networking, taking care of other nonprofits, which I saw beautifully done during COVID. We had so many nonprofits in the Hillsborough area come together and help one another. Bag and Baggage put up videos for every nonprofit.
Yes.
Using their services that were closed down to help other nonprofits. The Downtown Association was amazing. Xpose Hope reached out and helped businesses. Thai House is probably still in business because we mentioned over and over that they were failing.
Yep.
So we all work together, and it's a beautiful thing. I would have gotten to know more nonprofits much earlier.
Right. I love that. I love the networking aspect and the love for each other's businesses that you bring to the table. And I'm just so grateful that you're in my life and that I know you. And thank you for coming today and sharing your story.
Thank you for having me. So the other night, I'm at home, and I hadn't eaten all day. I want to go out to dinner. We go down to a restaurant, we sit down, I get a call from one of our former clients. She has a customer at her place of business who's an obvious domestic violence victim, and she's come out of the life. So we were able to interrupt our dinner, run down, and help provide resources for this young woman. We provide resources such as connections to domestic violence resources, connections to housing, mentors, just safety. That's your donations at work. If you'd like to donate, go to www.xposehope.com/donate. That's XPOSCHOPE.com/donate. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Talking Business, brought to you by Xpose Hope. We can be found on all of your favorite podcast platforms, YouTube, iTunes, all of them. Also, be sure to like us, share us, and leave a comment. Who do you want to hear from? We want to know.